The Supreme Court has stayed all cases seeking vaccine for more priority groups, which also includes the judicial staff, and such an exemption which was being sought earlier before the Delhi High Court. The case will no longer continue being heard before the High Court, since the court has stayed hearing of all similar petitions across various high courts. The court will also hear petitions filed by vaccine manufacturers Bharat Biotech and the Serum Institute of India, who had opposed disclosure of their production capacity, fearing that the same may be misused. The top court will now hear cases seeking priority vaccine access for judges, lawyers and court staff. Also, Centre has opposed any profession-based grant of access to COVID vaccines, which was earlier being sought by various lawyers for the judicial staff. Centre had submitted that even vegetable vendors and journalists come in contact with lots of people like lawyers, and tomorrow journalists may also start seeking a separate access to the vaccine for nature of their work. However, the CJI observed that journalists do not need to come in contact with people, at least not as much as lawyers do. The CJI held that certain professions have higher levels of exposure for their livelihood, while agreeing to examine the case for the possibility of allowing priority vaccination for judicial staff, including judges, lawyers and court staff. The top court has admitted transfer petitions filed by the Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech, while staying similar petitions filed before various high courts. The CJI held that there was a genuine need to address fears of those not vaccinated till now, and made it clear that no one was attributing any malafide to Centre or to the vaccine makers. Also, vaccine manufacturers submitted before the top court that how can high courts decide on priority vaccination when government itself is monitoring administration of vaccine, while vaccine manufacturers and Centre welcomed suggestions to include groups of people as priority, which should ideally be sent to an expert committee which is going to take a final view based on which any priority group would be considered or included. Solicitor General also agreed with the petitions and the requests made by vaccine makers, submitting that an all-India issue cannot be decided at state level, and medical experts, committees and WHO reports had kept frontline workers as priority, while he urged the top court to stay pending cases before various high courts. The petitions, which were filed by vaccine makers, wanted to stay the cases in high courts to avoid conflicting orders, while Centre earlier had submitted that only those vaccines were being exported outside India which cannot be administered under the current infrastructure. Centre had maintained that only a certain number of vaccines can be administered as per the current infrastructure and medical workforce available in India.